Good morning. Thank you. My name is Byron Agapay, and I am absolutely honored and so excited to be the student representative for this beautiful class. I would first like to start off by congratulating my colleagues for their amazing accomplishments in this program and all of their trials, hardships, and growth that they've seen. Now I'd like to thank all of the staff, faculty, family, and friends for their unconditional love and support for all of these graduates. Historically, commencement took place on the campus of the University of Western States, but as our field of health and wellness grew, so did our school. Commencement was moved to the Oregon Convention Center, where it typically takes place on a Friday. Except for this year. I'm sure there's some kind of logistical reason, but I'm convinced that when the school learned that one of their graduates had a birthday on 12/12 for their 212th commencement ceremony, they couldn't resist moving it to that day. So welcome to the 212th student address, and thank you for joining me on my most well-attended birthday party yet. I'd like to just tell a few stories about trials, hardships, and growth. It was a cold and gusty, dark morning on January 9th, 2017, when most of our students woke up for their first day of classes. Trembling under layers of clothes, they scraped ice from their windshields as the wind cut their cheek and dried their hands. But all for naught. The first day of classes were actually canceled due to the ice. Except for Ryan Williams, who showed up anyway because he missed the email. He actually posted the first selfie in our group of him alone on campus. In fact, the entire first week of our program in the DC program was kind of tough. No one knew if classes would be canceled. Dissections still had to happen to stay on track. And Dr. Williams posted about 22 Panopto lectures for us to watch. But we tried to make it work. In fact, we did make it work. We refreshed university emails to stay on track. We trudged through the snow with our anatomy groups, and we heard, "Hello, biochemists," 22 times. The trials that we faced then and throughout the program were supported by an incredible staff. For example, Dr. Partna for teaching us how to associate body landmarks with vertebral segments, like what we would find if we follow the T4 vertebra to the anterior thorax. Dr. Major for teaching us that ascending fibers from graceful legs go up the fasciculus gracilis. And Dr. Heron for teaching us which neurovascular structure would be damaged if we shank someone. The students at UWS are no strangers to highly stressful course loads and long to-do lists. So it is very important to acknowledge some of the hardships in order to celebrate our accomplishments. One of the more fabled hardships that students see in our program comes in the form of a folded piece of paper with a number scribbled on it. Starting in quarter 7, Dr. LaFay would test our ability to differentially diagnose conditions based off of history and physical examination. He would then ask us for management, whether that be referral, rehab, or treatment. When he would test us, we would walk in, eyes red from studying the night before, even until minutes before class. We'd collect the folded and stapled half sheets of paper. We'd sit down at our desks. Hands shaking, we would take the staple off and set it aside because it would give us that many more seconds to take the test. Then we would sit and watch Dr. LaFay pace the front of the room, both hands in the front pocket looking down, counting the seconds until the test time. Without warning, he would say, "You have 10 minutes, good luck." The papers would flip and you'd hear pens and pencils scribbling. 5 minutes more. And then 2 minutes more. That's it. Flip your papers over, write your numbers on the back, do not fold it, and turn it in. Later that day or the next, we'd go and pick up our papers. We would open it and we would dread seeing 2 words only: "See me." The blood would drain from our face and fill our feet so that each step out of the student assessment center was heavy and leaden, but we kept going. We kept walking and we kept learning. Another hardship that we all saw was sleep. This was particularly true during national boards or finals week. The libraries and coffee shops of Portland became domiciled with safety and Wi-Fi and urgency in shared restrooms. And then as 4 p.m. got darker like the bags under our eyes, we wiped the ream from them and we kept studying. And even as the borborygmi in our stomach told us to stop studying for the day and eat, we kept learning. And that's how we grew not only as students, but as professionals. The amount of growth that our students have seen are way too many to count, but I'd like to share just a few examples. In quarter one, we were asked to find and palpate the spinous processes of the back, and we had so many questions back then. What are we feeling for? How do we find them? How do we associate which body level they're with? But now if you ask any of these graduates, we can find anything with pretty much our eyes closed. When anyone calls us doctor now, we'll beam with excitement and confidence, but that wasn't the case, especially when Dr. LaFay would call you in front of the whole class and say, Dr. So-and-so, what are the sensory, motor, and reflex changes for a C5 radiculopathy? We would stutter and shake in our seats, but not anymore. We learned. These are just some examples of growth that happened inside of our program. We saw some growth outside of the program too, like the birth of about 10 baby chiropractors from some of our students here. All of these growths, trials, and hardships that you faced, big or small, brought you all here today, and I'm very excited to be here with you. As we come to the end of the program, it is easy for us to get excited about what's coming. I would like to use this time to speak to the graduating class and ask them to keep in mind 4 things as we finish. Number 1 is to celebrate yourselves. You put in the work and the time that this program required, so use this moment. Smile. You deserve everything that comes with this program, good, bad, and all of the learning opportunities. The second thing is to continue to be a student. This group of individuals is filled with some of the most knowledgeable and annoyingly curious people I've ever met. Continue to be relentless and ask the hard questions, challenge yourselves, and keep an open mind. The third thing is to be a teacher. I've seen all of you teach each other in the classroom with academia or outside with life and advice. Keep that light and share it with everyone that has the pleasure of meeting you. The last one is simple. Keep in touch. At our student orientation, they told us that we would meet some of our best friends here. And I didn't believe that at the time. Either I was too cold because the heater in Hampton was broken, or I just didn't believe that 3 years was enough. But as I think back throughout the program, and I look around today, I see some of my best friends. Andy Bernard from the office said, I wish there was a way to know when you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. I am sad to be leaving the good old days with all of you, but I am excited to see all of the positive influence you will have. So go out there, make your adjustments. It's your showtime. Thank you.